In a forgotten corner of a small Midwestern town, behind a creaky old house with a rusting roof, a boy named Caleb Rivers worked tirelessly in a dim garage. The place smelled of motor oil and old wires. To most people it was just a pile of junk. But to Caleb, it was a treasure chest of endless possibility. At 16, Caleb wasn't like other kids. While his classmates were glued to their phones or playing video games, Caleb spent hours scavenging through junkyards for discarded electronics, fragments of the modern world no one else wanted. He would sketch wild inventions in his battered notebook and tinker under the flicker of a single bulb, soldering wires with the steady hands of a dreamer chasing something no one else could see. They called him names at school: Scrap Boy, Garage Geek, the Broke Iron Man. But Caleb didn't care. He had a vision. At home, things were tough. His mother, Grace Rivers, worked double shifts at the local diner just to keep the lights on. Most nights, she came home exhausted, her uniform smelling of coffee and grease, but she always made time to check on him. One rainy evening, as thunder cracked above, the house went dark, another blackout. Grace sighed in frustration. But moments later, the lamp flickered on. She turned in awe to see Caleb standing in the doorway, soaked in sweat and rain, holding a crude device made from solar panels, phone batteries, and salvage circuits. "It works," he said softly. "We have power." Grace stared at the glowing light, then at her son, tears filling her eyes. For a moment, the weight of their struggles lifted. She hugged him tight, whispering, "You're gonna change the world, baby." That night, as the storm raged outside, Caleb sat on his rickety bed and opened his old laptop. With shaky fingers, he uploaded a short video of his invention. He titled it simply, "Built a solar-powered router from junk. Think this could help Starlink at Elon Musk." He stared at the screen long after hitting post. No likes. No replies. Just silence. But still, Caleb smiled to himself, whispering into the dark, "One day, they'll see." 2 days passed. Then 4. Caleb kept checking his phone like a reflex, refreshing his post every hour. The video barely got any views at first. A few shares. A few encouraging comments. But nothing from the one person he hoped would notice. Then came the morning everything changed. Caleb was at the diner, waiting for his mom to finish her shift. His laptop was open beside a half-empty cup of orange juice when a loud ping shattered the silence. He blinked at the screen. Blue circle at Elon Musk replied, "This kid is a genius." "Dim me." For a moment he just stared. The diner around him faded. The clatter of plates, the hum of conversation, thun. He whispered, "No way." Then he read it again. And again. Grace rushed over, wiping her hands on her apron. "What happened? Are you okay?" Caleb turned the screen toward her. Her eyes widened. Her mouth dropped open. She clutched his face with trembling hands, her voice breaking. "You did it, Caleb. You really did it." Within hours, the tweet exploded. Thousands of retweets. Tech blogs picked it up. YouTubers made reaction videos titled, "The teen Elon just called a genius." By nightfall, Caleb's inbox was flooded. Reporters. Venture capitalists. Strangers calling him the next Tesla kid. Then the final message came. A short email. Subject line, "From Elon, want to meet? Body. We're flying you to California. Let's talk about your invention. Don't bring a pitch deck. Just bring your mind." Caleb sat frozen, hands trembling, heart racing. This wasn't just recognition. This was the beginning of something bigger than he'd ever imagined. And as the screen glowed in front of him, he whispered. They saw. The flight to California was the first time Caleb had ever been on a plane. He sat by the window in a borrowed blazer, clutching his old blueprint notebook like it was sacred. Below him, clouds stretched endlessly. Beside him, Grace held his hand, trying to stay composed, but her eyes kept watering. When they landed, a black Tesla waited at the curb. No reporters. No cameras. Just a quiet man in a SpaceX jacket holding a tablet with Caleb's name. They were driven to the SpaceX campus, a futuristic glass fortress glowing under the California sun. Caleb stepped out and gawked at the Falcon rocket towering in the distance. This was real. Inside, they passed engineers, AI simulations, robotic arms welding in silence. It felt like stepping into the future. Then came the moment. The doors opened to a sleek conference room. At the far end stood Elon Musk, dressed simply in a black tee, staring curiously at the blueprint in Caleb's hand. "Elon," the assistant announced. "This is Caleb Rivers." Elon smiled. "So, you're the garage genius who's making routers from scrap phones?" Caleb gulped. "Yes, sir. I mean yes." "Don't call me sir," Elon said, chuckling. "Call me Elon. Now show me what you've got." Caleb laid out his device on the table, clunky, scratched, but humming with purpose. He explained how it harvested weak solar input, how it created a signal bubble even in remote zones, and how, with proper funding, it could be scaled for villages across the globe. Most people would have interrupted, asked for specs, dismissed the dream. But Elon listened. Really listened. Then he leaned back and said, "You remind me of myself at your age, before PayPal, before the rockets. You didn't wait for permission. You just built." He offered Caleb a 6-month mentorship, a $100,000 innovation grant, and a chance to co-develop a next-gen model under Tesla Solar's umbrella. Caleb's knees nearly buckled. He looked at his mother, who covered her mouth, tears streaming silently. As he signed the agreement with a trembling hand, Elon smiled and said, "Don't let them tell you what's possible, Caleb. You already broke that rule." And just like that, the boy who once scavenged from junkyards walked out of that room with the future in his pocket. When Caleb returned to his hometown, he wasn't just a local kid anymore. He was a headline. Teen tech prodigy partners with Elon Musk. From Junkyard to Genius Lab. His school, the same place where teachers once told him to stop daydreaming in science fiction, invited him back to speak at an assembly. He stood on the stage in the gym where he was once mocked. This time, the bleachers were full. Phones were recording. His former bullies sat silently in the front row. Caleb didn't boast. He just held up his original device, the scratched, humming router, and said, "I made this in a garage. Not to be famous, but because I wanted to help. I still do." The applause that followed wasn't forced. It was thunderous. And it was real. From that moment, things moved fast. Caleb launched his own startup, LightNet, with a mission to bring low-cost, solar-powered internet access to off-grid communities. Backed by Elon's mentorship and Tesla's reach, the first prototypes rolled off production within months. A documentary clip of Caleb in Kenya went viral. He knelt beside a young girl in a dusty village, guiding her hand as she connected to the internet for the first time. Her face lit up as a page loaded. A smile. A whisper, "It works." Back home, Caleb used a portion of his grant to fix up their crumbling house. New windows. A warm kitchen. A proper lab built right into the garage, the same place where it all began. But as the spotlight grew, so did the noise. Investors called daily. Reporters swarmed. The online world, once praising him, began to pick apart his success. Is he just Elon's pet project? A PR stunt in a hoodie? The pressure was suffocating. One night, in his newly lit-up workshop, Caleb sat staring at a blinking cursor. He hadn't built anything new in weeks. The spark felt buried. His mom walked in and saw the slump in his shoulders. Without a word, she placed something on the desk beside him. It was his original blueprint, edges torn, smudged with graphite and sweat. "This is who you are," she said gently. "Not the likes. Not the noise. Just a boy with a dream and a will to build." Caleb looked at the paper. A slow smile broke through the doubt. He turned back to the screen, cracked his knuckles, and whispered, "Let's build again." The lights dimmed. The giant screen behind him read, "TDX Youth, the next generation of thinkers." Backstage, Caleb stood in a simple gray hoodie, the same kind he wore when he soldered his first invention. He bounced lightly on his heels, heart pounding like a drum inside his chest. He wasn't here to impress. He was here to ignite. As his name was called, the crowd erupted. Cameras flashed. Phones raised. He stepped onto the red dot center stage, spotlight beaming down like destiny had arrived. For a second he just stood there, taking it all in. Then he spoke. 3 years ago, I lit a lamp in my house during a blackout, with junk I pulled from a trash pile. That night, I didn't just bring light to my home, I lit the first spark of something bigger. The audience hung on every word. I posted a video. Tagged someone who didn't know I existed. The tweet? It changed everything. Behind him, photos flashed. His mom hugging him in the garage, him walking with Elon through the Tesla lab, children in remote villages smiling around a working LightNet device. But I'm not special. I'm proof. Proof that dreams don't need permission. That even the quietest garage can echo across the world, if you dare to believe in your spark. He paused. We all have scraps. But we also have imagination. And courage. And if we choose to build instead of breaking, we don't just change our lives, we light the path for others. Tears welled in the eyes of students, parents, teachers, even the seasoned TEDx hosts backstage. Caleb ended with the words that had driven him from the start. Don't wait for the world to see you. Build something so bright they can't ignore you. Standing ovation. Everyone. Standing. Later that night, Caleb sat alone in a quiet hallway, away from the noise, scribbling something new in his notebook. Not a speech. Not a press release. A new design. Elon appeared beside him, watching silently for a moment. Still building? He asked with a smile. Caleb looked up, smiled back. Always. And just like that, the spark returned. Follow up for more.